let's go and with yours, and then I'll let you know.
Okay. Big news this week, I believe Monday. Penny Marshall.
Yes.
Passed away. Mainly actress and director. She was in Laverne and Shirley. She was Laverne, and directed a couple of pretty seminal films. I mean, she did Big in the 80s. She did A League of Their Own. And I don't remember what her last film was, but she hasn't made a movie in quite some time. I don't think she's made a movie in the last 15, 16 years, maybe even longer.
Yeah.
And I think her last one was Riding in Cars with Boys with Drew Barrymore, and that was around 2001, so maybe even 17 years. But that news came out that she had passed away. And I asked you if you had mentioned William Goldman dying. That was back in November.
Yeah, I don't think we got there.
Okay. William Goldman, famous screenwriter, wrote a lot of pretty famous movies. Wrote All the President's Men, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Misery, Princess Bride, which was actually based on his novel that he wrote. So he was a writer on a lot of big movies, and he passed away in November. Oh, Marathon Man. I recommend watching Marathon Man if you've never seen Marathon Man with Dustin Hoffman.
I don't think I have.
Really good movie, good thriller from 75 or 76, I think.
R.I.P. to both of them.
Yes. Two very, very talented individuals. That's really all my news. I wanted to hit those. I have a news story, but it ties into what we're talking with tonight, so I'll save that for when we get to that point in the show.
Okay. I actually had a snippet from Big, if you want to check that out real quick.
Yeah, I love Big.
Adolescence. 3 years. Me too. Every day after school.
There you go.
That's a class. That's probably the most famous scene from that movie when they're on the piano and was it FAO Schwartz? I think is the toy store they're in.
Especially, I feel like that whole movie has been redone through. It's like a kind of like a Star is Born, where it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
It's continually done, like, you know, every few years, in a different context, of course. But yeah, so R.I.P. Penny. For my news, it's really everything that James said. Venom and the Predator hit Blu-ray this week in 4K. Both were kind of disappointing. I checked out Predator on video, and like you said, it's okay.
It's okay.
Underwhelming.
I have a feeling we'll be getting more into this next week, but it was very underwhelming. I expected a lot better from Shane Black. It's got some pretty classic Shane Black dialogue, and it's got some good rapport amongst his characters. But overall, especially that last act of the movie is really fucking terrible.
Yeah, watching it, I was just like, what? It just keeps going in a weirder direction than I ever thought.
Yeah.
Even like some forced humor in there that was just like super. Like, I don't know if they were trying to be campy or like, you know, Sam Raimi-ish, but
it's not hard edged
at all. It's just, it loses what it's building up by doing some of those things.
It just gets goofy.
Yeah, and So I don't know. Check it out and let us know what you think. But those are available now on 4K and Blu-ray if you're interested. And that's, I think, it for our news. If you want to jump into the Rex.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now it's time for the weekly recommendations.
All right, man.
What are James? James should go first because James is not here.
I think.
Does he have any?
I don't think he gave me any Rex.
He didn't give me any Rex.
So shame on you.
That's too bad, James. Okay. My first one is one of my all-time favorite movies. I just rewatched it because one of the podcasts I listened to got into it last year, but I'm that far behind. And this is Strange Days.
Okay.
Love it. That's my favorite Catherine Bigelow movie. Mm-hmm. It was a huge bomb when it came out. It did not do well at all, but it's a movie I think was ahead of its time. And if maybe it had come out, 10 years later, I know that it came out before the millennium and it took place on the last 2 days of 1999 before the millennium. But I think if that movie had come out a little bit later and, been set at a different time, it probably would have done a lot better. But I think it's so underrated. Gave me my lifelong crush and appreciation for Angela Bassett. But I would recommend that movie highly. Probably my favorite Ralph Fiennes performance. Mm-hmm. He's so good in that movie, and it's got a good plot. It's a good sci-fi noir movie. He's super good in it. Angela Bassett is fantastic in it. And great direction by Catherine Bigelow. She followed up Point Break with this movie, and this movie was not a hit. But I think it's a big cult. It has a big cult following. And unfortunately, it's not on Blu-ray.
Oh, really?
No. I think you can get it if it's like Region 2.
Oh. Okay.
But you can't get it in the States. I don't know why. I heard that had something to do with James Cameron, because it's from Lightstorm Entertainment, his production house. And he wrote it, and for some reason they haven't released that on Blu-ray along with The Abyss, which I would love to see both those movies on Blu-ray. But that's one I would highly recommend. Maybe I should have recommended it next week since it does take place on New Year's Eve. But Strange Days. And my second one is unfortunately a just canceled comedy called Detroiters. Mm-hmm. That was on Comedy Central. That was so funny. And Tim Robinson, who was on Saturday Night Live, and Sam Richardson, that has popped up in a lot of movies, but he's on Veep. And he was in, I think, The Second Neighbors. He was in Office Christmas Party. He's got another show coming out. The name escapes me at the moment. But both of them, lifelong friends, native Detroiters. And they were on this show where they played an ad agency. They were ad men. And they always had a bunch of local Detroit faces and celebrities on the show because it obviously took place in Detroit. And it was so funny, and it only had 2 seasons, and Comedy Central just canceled it like last week. So I'm bummed about that, but I highly recommend watching that. You want some good laughs, check that out.
Nice. I have 2, and they're both from Showtime, actually.
Okay.
My first one's Escape from Dannemora.
Okay. I'm recording it, but I haven't started watching it because I wanted to let it all record first, and I'll go through and watch it all in a couple of nights.
So it's got Patricia Arquette, Benicio del Toro, and Paul Dano. Mm-hmm. I watched the pilot, and it's got me, man. It's riveting stuff. It's directed by Ben Stiller.
Yeah, that's weird.
Which is nuts. It's a mini-series. And yeah, judging by that, if they keep that consistent tone, it's awesome. It's basically about Patricia Arquette's character. She gets caught up in this love triangle and with these inmates, I believe they're in upstate New York, and they hatch a plot to escape.
When was that? What year was that? That's a true story.
Is it?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, that's a true story. It's a real prison break, and that was, I don't know if that was 2015, 2016.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just a few years ago.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's crazy. But yeah, check it out on Showtime. If you don't have Showtime, they offer a week free trial. All you need is an email. So do that and then binge it because it's up digitally already, the entire season. Second Showtime, actually, it's not a show. It's a documentary. Agnostic Front, Godfathers of Hardcore. It seems like Showtime is kind of dabbling in, how do you say, alternative culture, subculture documentaries right now, and this is one of them. It goes kind of jumps back into the how do you say, like the hardcore punk scene and how these these guys kind of started it and where they are in their lives today. And it's pretty interesting, especially with the there's a lot of controversy surrounding them, a lot of myth where people think that they're a racist band, and I believe the two how do you say, remaining frontmen are actually immigrants. So it's funny that they have this kind of ongoing battle with that. But anyway, it's called The Godfathers of Hardcore, available on Showtime. Check it out.
Okay, I'll look for it on demand.
Yeah. And then now we get to jump into our main focus, unless you have some shows to talk about.
No, I haven't been to a show in a while, and I don't know who's coming.
Okay.
I missed the Selector. I wanted to see them, but they were charging more money than I was willing to spend to be cramped in the Casbah, and I couldn't make it out to the Slacker show, unfortunately, because I had a lot to do that night.
Your ticket actually went to waste.
Oh no!
Yeah, there was one. I had one ticket left.
So. Oh, I'm sorry, dude.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
I had to take care of some stuff, and it took longer than I expected, so I didn't get home. And for a couple hours past the time I wish I had been home.
With that being said, we'll move into our movie focus.
I hope so. I got lots to say.
We'll turn it over to Chris.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now for the movie focus of the week.
All right, so tell me about Die Hard. Let's hear those 12 pages.
Oh, I have 12 pages of notes, and I had to stop myself from taking more notes when we were watching the movie.
I noticed you weren't jotting anything down. Not that you need to.
I know the movie back to front because I've been watching it for the last 30 years. By the way, it is the 30th anniversary.
Yeah, happy anniversary to Die Hard.
Yeah, I think it came out in July of '88. So it's actually a little bit past the 30th anniversary, but because a lot of people, and myself included, and we'll get into this discussion at some point, I'm guessing, consider it a Christmas movie.
Why didn't Gremlins come out during the summer too?
I believe Gremlins was out in the summer as well, yeah.
Why did they do that with these movies that have this Christmas theme?
Well, with Die Hard was an action movie, and action movies probably play better in the summer, especially back then. Mm-hmm. Now they seem to release big movies all year round. But with Die Hard being an action movie, that's probably why it was released in the summer. Gremlins, I think they should have held off until the fall or Christmas time, the holiday season, because that's a perfect Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. Even though I think some people don't consider that a Christmas movie either.
I do. I mean, yeah, I do, for sure.
Well, since this is a big debate, and this has come up very recently with not only the Bruce Willis roast that you guys mentioned a couple weeks back on your Black Klansman show, but also I know that the Hollywood Reporter just had a poll not too long ago asking, what's a Christmas movie, and is Die Hard a Christmas movie, and a lot of people said no. They voted it no, but what makes a Christmas movie? in your opinion?
Honestly, it's whether or not the story takes place around Christmas time.
Okay.
Whether it be
So that's pretty easy criteria.